Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Yes, again, the beautiful reminder of choice that we all have. You have a choice, I have a choice, we all have a choice. And what is the choice about? It's about our thoughts. Remember, that's where it all starts. Everything starts in the mind. In the beginning was the Word. That's a reference to what's happening in the mind. And from there proceeds the life. Now, again, sit in that for a moment. Sit in how beautiful it is that you have access to that you have access to shift how you're thinking at any moment of your life where you can shift how your life's going to be. Now, that is incredible. And we hope that you feel that from us. We hope that you engage with what we're talking about, because what we're talking about here, it literally means everything when it comes to you living how you would love your life to be. So make sure that you use what we're talking about, because it does make a difference. Now, with that being said, we want to remind you that we have our upcoming event, which we shifted the date for. We were going to have Emergence on the 14th. We're now going to have it on the 28th. So if you did register, keep it in mind, you don't need to re-register. You'll be in the system to be reminded of when that happens. But if you haven't registered, by all means, register and then invite someone else to come along as well. Because what we're going to share with you is going to be amazing and incredible. Dolly and I have worked diligently to be able to come up with a method and a process to help you to understand exactly what we're talking about, and also to help you to implement it in your life in a way that delivers the change that you seek. And that's what the Emergence event is going to be about. So again, register. You'll thank yourself later. Now, what have we been studying? We've been studying this beautiful gem here, The Science of Getting Rich, which, oh my God, it's such an amazing book. Now, if you don't have a copy of this, make sure that you do get a copy of this. Get this specific copy with this cover, because it is a specific edition that we republished that is amazing and incredible. You've heard us talk about it a lot. Something we will remind you of when it comes to what's in this book is that a lot of it has been merged with what we've come up with in Emergence. But with that being said, we've gone deeper to help you to understand it better so that you can use it in your life. Now, with regards to this book itself, the statement is beautiful, because there is a science to getting rich. There is a science to success, to happiness, to joy, to all of it. And if you live your life according to that science, you will inevitably get rich, be happy, be successful. All of it's the same. Now, think about that for a moment. Think of that in terms of mathematics, for instance, the principle of mathematics, the science of math itself. It's exact. If you get the wrong answer trying to figure out an equation, is it because the principles of mathematics are wrong? No, it's because your methods are wrong. And see, that's what we want you to see here when it comes down to this. So make sure you get your copy, make sure you use it, make sure you underline it, highlight it, memorize it even. But most importantly, above anything, is make sure you implement it. Remember, application, baby, that's where it's at. Application is the golden rule, and it's application that determines whether or not any information that is shared will have an impact in your life. And we put that into the very first lesson of Emergence, because it's extremely important. Without it, you don't deliver change. All right, so let's go into where we left off in this book, shall we? Type in the comments, I'm ready if you're ready. And let's go into this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom. All right. Now, in terms of the page that we're on page 128. And here he's referencing operating
Wow,
in
that's
the certain
timing.
way. Yeah. Wait, what happened there? He's he's referencing and how important it is to operate in the certain way. As a matter of fact, I'll lead into this from the previous two paragraphs where he gave this example of an individual, a student of this science had set his mind on making a certain business combination, which seemed to him at the time to be very desirable. And he worked for some weeks to bring it about. When the crucial time came, the thing failed in a perfectly inexplicable way. He's like, what the heck? I thought it was going to work. It was as if some unseen influence had been working secretly against him. Now, how many of you have run into that? You thought, oh my gosh, this is inevitable. It's going to work. And then, bam, it fails. Now, here's the key component here. He was not disappointed. On the contrary, he thanked God that his desire had been overruled and went steadily on with a grateful mind. Now, sit in that for a moment. He wasn't disappointed. He thanked God that his desire had been overruled and went steadily on with a grateful mind. Remember, it's gratitude that keeps you connected to the source. In a few weeks, an opportunity so much better came his way that he would have not made the first deal on any account. And he saw that a mind which knew more than he knew had prevented him from losing the greater good by entangling himself with the lesser. See, God, the universe source, knows better than you how to get what you want. Now he goes further to point out that this is the way every seeming failure will work out for you. If you keep your faith, hold to your purpose, have gratitude, and do every day all that can be done that day, doing each separate act in a successful manner. Put a big box around this. Consent to that recipe that's being shared here. Believe, operate with faith. And remember, faith is always in proportion to the belief that you have. Hold to your purpose. Be grateful. And do every day all that you can do that day, doing each separate act in a successful manner. You know, if you investigate people who are highly successful the way that you would love to be successful in your life, you will see that this is what they do. And notice how I say do, and that doing is an emphasis with regards to what's happening inside. I'm going to read this again. That is the way every seeming failure will work out for you if, now there's the caveat there, if you keep your faith, hold to your purpose, have gratitude, and do every day all that can be done that day, doing each separate act in a successful manner. Now think about that for you when it comes to your goal. Remember, things aren't going to go according to plan. You have to discover the plan that works to give you the result. If you, with regards to this, keep your faith, hold to your purpose, have gratitude, and then proceed to do every day all that you can do that day, doing everything in an effective manner, in a successful manner, you will meet success upon unexpected hours. And that's a big deal. Now, when you put this together, what is this really? What this really is him saying, have a really great attitude. Great attitude, great results. Poor attitude, poor results. It's very simple. Now, before we proceed, for those of you who are watching the live stream of this and are tapped into it and feel the pull of this information and would love to hear more of this and access the remainder of these calls and watch the replays, then do yourself a favor and go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You will thank yourself later. So now let's proceed.